Welcome to the start of a new challenge. Whilst I set up the basics, I want to explain to you what this challenge is going to be. I want to keep it going until the start of Ark2. My aim is to kill as many bosses as I can using as many dinos as I can. This will mean breeding things such as Dillos all the way to Rexes to see if they can kill bosses and how many I can beat. I will only be doing this on the island at the moment, but once I beat the island I will expand to other bosses to try and beat the game itself. If you want to come and watch live, it will be linked over on my Twitch under the same username, AH.Adventures. One thing I do want to point out is you will notice that the levels are really low. I did fix this later on using INI files to make the max level 150. As I finished crafting basic tools, I noticed some dodos on the beach. This would allow me to get some hide and craft some bowlers. I had noticed quite a few parasaurs near me that I had been checking out the levels on whilst I was killing dodos. After crafting the bowlers, I planned to tame one of the parasaurs using a wooden club. Sadly, whilst doing this, a trike walked close to me and I ended up hitting it, meaning I had to run away. It de-aggroed on me very quickly, meaning I could go back and tame the other parasaur which was there. It tamed quickly and I called it Parry. I quickly found a Dillo further at the beach. I used another bowler to go and tame with the wooden club. It tamed very quickly and I did forget to name him, but I did name him later on. Further up the beach, after whistling passive, I noticed another Dillo which I planned to tame as well as just some extra defense. As I ran up to him, I threw a bowler to start knocking him out. Unfortunately, I didn't do enough damage with the wooden club and he did escape and I had to chase him to finish him off. He did tame quickly though, and I named one fried and the other one poached because everyone loves eggs and the price of them at the moment. As I set up a base to start crafting narcotics, I noticed the Pteranodon and I went and bowlered it and knocked it out with the wooden club to start taming. Whilst the Pteranodon was taming, I went back to crafting narcotics. After the Pteranodon finished taming, I ended up calling it lightweight because we all know they struggle to carry much. But this meant I could now go back to trying to get metal tools to get the game started. I started by crafting a forge so then I could smelt metal to get a smithy. The thing is, to get some metal I had to go mine some of the stones on the beach and just hope I got enough metal from them. Whilst the metal was smelting, I had noticed a trike nearby. I planned on tranking it out and I didn't want him to be able to hit me. Luckily, he ended up getting stuck on the Dillos, so he is a very easy knockout in the end. After he was knocked out, I put some measure berries into his inventory to leave him there, whilst I went to get some keratin so I'd know I'd be able to make a Pteranodon saddle when I reached the level. After collecting the keratin, I went back and I was able to now create a smithy which would allow me to make metal tools. After this, I turned my focus to getting some crystal so that I'd be able to make some soul traps to move around the dinos. Sadly, I wasn't able to collect much of this due to the low weight on my Pteranodon. This also meant I was able to craft the awesome spyglass, which meant that I could actually be aware of the dinos I was seeing and the stats that they had in case I needed to tame some. My next plan was to find a place to live. I thought I'd want to live next to Green Knob, and by the time I got over here I decided that I wanted to, but I'd still have to go back to collect all of the dinos. After making it back to Green Knob, I decided where I wanted to build my base, and then I started putting back out the dinos I had already got. The two Dillos, a parasaur, a trike, and then Lightweight himself. I never ended up naming the trike, but he was great for harvesting thatch and a little bit of wood. I used these materials to get the start of a new base set up, which really didn't improve for quite a long time. To start setting up some of the extra things I needed, like another forge, I needed stone, so I had to go back to collecting materials to recraft the base I had pretty much just made. I actually forgot to bring all of the hide from the other base, so this gave me a chance to look around to see if there were any high levels I could find, which there weren't, but it allowed me to kill some dillos and get some nice easy hide. Whilst flying around and killing dillos though, I did actually spot an alpha raptor. It was only level 65, but I would need to kill this later on. But as you may have noticed, I've also adjusted the levels to now be multiples of 5 instead of multiples of 4. Sadly, everything was still low level, including the level 5 Rex. As I travelled around getting more hide, killing dodos I was finding again, I went back to base, placed down a pestle and mortar, and I also dropped down a lovely forge again. After this I went to get some metal, but I couldn't actually collect much due to the low weight of the Pteranodon. I would have to get an RG soon. Whilst I was waiting for the metal to smelt, I went back to flying around looking for a high level because I wanted to tame every high level I could due to wanting to breed everything. I actually found a 125 Sarko with 27 points before taming into melee. I decided I wanted to tame him, and he ended up getting a bit stuck, so he was very easy to knock out. After knocking him out, I decided I wanted to kill the Spino nearby at level 25 for some prime meat. This didn't really go as planned. I landed on a ledge, didn't think the Spino would reach me so I could shoot at it, and it actually did. After getting back to my stuff, I finished off the Spino and used the prime meat to tame up the Sarko. I then led the Sarko back to base, which he ended up with 37 points into attack, which was good enough in my opinion for me to start breeding. Sadly, he had a very low health stat in comparison. But this is where the first stream finished, and I want to thank you for watching whilst I finished out my base.